House Republicans have finally unveiled their whopping $1.3 trillion spending bill ahead of the looming government shutdown. President Trump endorsed the bill last night. He tweeted this: got $1.6 billion to start wall on southern border. Rest will be forthcoming. Most importantly, got $700 billion to rebuild our military, $716 billion next year, most ever. Had to waste money on Democratic giveaways in order to take care of military pay increase and new equipment. The funding measure needs to make it through the House Rules Committee before a floor vote. Some conservative members in the chamber not happy with this bill. Too much money.
We continue to fund sanctuary cities. We continue to fund Planned Parenthood. We don't build the wall, but yet we put money in for a tunnel. The last time I checked, when the president was campaigning, he wasn't campaigning for a tunnel between New Jersey and New York, but I'm not very optimistic that there will be conservative wins in this.
Joining us right now is Arkansas Congressman, House Budget Committee Chairman Steve Womack. Chairman Womack, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Maria, it's great to be with you.
What about that? Planned Parenthood, sanctuary cities, all of this extra spending has us looking at trillion-dollar deficits 10 years out and beyond. How do you justify that?
Well, look, let's first of all understand what we're doing in this bill. Again, this bill is not across the finish line yet, but we went into these negotiations with the expressed intent of primarily fixing our military. And in order to do that, like any other negotiation, understand that the other side gets a vote in this thing. We don't have 60 votes in the Senate. So in this four corners negotiation, when you've got members of the Senate, the minority leader in the Senate, minority leader in the House, and the two majority leaders in the House and Senate on the Republican side negotiating, they're going to get a vote. So in order to beef up the defense, there were certain things, other concessions that had to be made. And that's just what's going to happen in negotiation. It's a 2,000-page bill. Members are still sorting through it. We got a short timeline that we're being asked to consider this thing. So there's a lot of activity going on in the nation's capital today with regard to this Omni package.
Look, I understand the need to fund the military, and we talk about that all the time, given the fact that our aging fleet in the Navy has 50% of the planes unable to even fly. I get all of that. We're seeing accidents. But did you need to go to that number? Did you need that much in terms of military? Could you have scaled back a bit so that you weren't handcuffed to put all of this other spending on domestic issues?
Well, they wanted dollar for dollar, Maria. Remember, the Democrats expected dollar for dollar, and we didn't go dollar for dollar. But we took our cues from the leadership in the Pentagon. Secretary Mattis was very emphatic as to the numbers that he needed to hit in order to be able to meet the demands that are created by the threat that is expanding around the globe. And this is not the time for us to be taking a pass on taking care of our men and women in uniform. We've got fundamental issues in the Pentagon. We've got in-strength problems. We've got force structure problems. We've got acquisition program problems. And we've got an expanding threat around the globe. It was necessary for us to take the steps that we've taken in this bill to beef up our military. And now, when you do that, you have to make concessions on the other side. And while they didn't get dollar for dollar, there were things in that bill there are things in this bill that we'd prefer not to have to do. But that's what happens when you sit down at the table and have to negotiate the way we do.
Mr. Chairman, will you get enough votes for this massive bill?
It's to be determined. I'm on the whip team, but I'm not aware of the whip count last night. I know there will be a lot of undecided voters or undecided members. We have a 2,000-page bill to sort through. We know pretty much what's in it from a numbers perspective, but what we don't know are some of the other things that have been added onto this bill that are unrelated to the spending provisions. So that's what members will be going through today to try to figure out exactly what else is in the bill and whether they can muster the votes necessary to be able to put it across the finish line. We still have to go through the rule process, and there might be some concerns about whether we can even pass the rule, but sometime today we'll have that in clarity.
So is there a plan to face off against trillion-dollar deficits? When does that become a priority?
Well, look, part of what we've got to do in order to be able to fix the fiscal glide path of this country, we've taken some steps already. We've worked on the tax code by lowering tax rates. We think that's part and parcel to to trying to grow this economy, because you're going to have to grow the economy to be able to fix the deficits and the debt as we know them today. We've gone after a lot of the over-regulation that happened in the last several years. We're beginning to take steps to be able to rid the private sector of a lot of this over-regulation. But growing this economy has to be a central focal point. A growth model is what's going to fix what ails this country right now. So cutting taxes is doing that, cutting regulations, and then we're eventually going to have to deal with the elephant in the room, and that is the mandatory side of spending. About 70% of federal dollars go out to programs that are on autopilot, and I believe you will see this Congress and the next Congress pivot quickly to doing things that go right to the heart of what's driving the deficits and the debt in this country, and that's on the mandatory side.
That's what I'm saying, sir. I mean, at some point it has to become a priority, but now what I hear being talked about is not that, but phase 2 of the tax cuts. Here's Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy with me yesterday when I asked him about that, the next step in tax reform.
I want to see the individuals made permanent. But like any big bill, when you go through it, there are going to be other aspects that you didn't think about. Let's see where we need to go there. Let's see how this bill has transferred and changed the economy. Is there places we missed? Let's listen to the economy, and let's go back and analyze that.
What about that, Mr. Chairman? What do you want to see in terms of phase 2 in the tax cuts?
Well, certainly we'd like to make the individual cuts permanent, and there's no question about that. I mean, that's just part of giving certainty to the economy and certainty to American households. But it's still, I think, a bit early for us to be able to, with clarity, understand exactly what this Tax Cut and Jobs Act proposal and law has actually done. I think it will take us for the rest of the year to figure out exactly how it's going to impact businesses, impact families. And so if there are tweaks that need to be made, then we're all in about that.
Let me ask you.
There was a tweak that we took care of yesterday, or at least in the announcement with the grain farmers. So we're going to find out a little bit more about the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act as we move through the year.
Mr. Chairman, I want to ask you about Facebook, but before I get to that, I want to read you Governor Mike Huckabee's tweet. He's tweeting that he's going to be on this program. I'm going to talk to him in a few minutes after you. He says, I will be on at Marie Bartiromo and will let loose on GOP for collapsing and surrendering to Pelosi and Schumer on a disgusting spending bill. It's not a compromise, it's capitulation. To borrow a phrase from Nancy Reagan, just say no. What do you want to say to Mike Huckabee?
Well, look, Mike Huckabee's a great friend of mine. I was a mayor in a town of Arkansas when he was my governor.
He
was my commander-in-chief of the National Guard. Yeah, he can say it's disgusting, and that's easy to say from the outside looking in. But as I said before, I believe strongly that we have a mandate to provide for the security of this country, and in order to be able to get the gains that we did for the Pentagon and for the national security apparatus, there were concessions that had to be made. That's going to happen in any negotiation. You can call it disgusting all day long, and there are things in this bill that I would prefer not to have to vote for. That's why we're sorting through it today to figure out, are there any other issues that have popped up on this bill that will make it distasteful enough that we can't support it? And look, we've got till tomorrow to fix it. If not, we'll be looking at a short-term CR and back to the negotiating table.